Many thanks to DayZ Podcast, Pandemonium, Fetler Traction Village servers, Atlas, Mutated Jurassic Outbreak servers, one original DayZ servers, Sheriff Line, Sauerkraut, Sgt. Pepper's DayZ Invasion server, PGZ servers, Dust Vanilla servers, Waste Sea, Churnish Cream Vanilla servers, and Tequila for making this video possible. The world of DayZ weapon stats is one of the most complex that any game has to offer, so I've compressed this complexity into 3 new stats that now help clearly rank the top 10 best weapons in close combat and the top 10 best weapons for sniping other players, not only showing us a definitive list of the best weapons in DayZ, but also accidentally giving us an easy method to judge damage at a range without the need for charts. The first of these 3 new stats, damage per second or DPS, is the raw unbridled power a weapon can pump out every single second, of which here are the rankings in DayZ. As you can see, way out in front is the LeMasse or FAMAS due to its monstrous 900 RPM combined with the 107 damage per shot, so every single bullet is going to do 107 damage at 900 RPM, making it the best weapon at pumping out damage by a very decent amount, followed by the M4 as you can see here in second place, and the LAR lagging behind surprisingly in third place. Now this is without considering recoil, reload speed, or ammo capacity. This is just pure testosterone, so if you're ever going toe to toe with other players, the LeMasse is by a large margin the undisputed best close combat weapon in DayZ. You can argue that a drum-magged Vega with buckshot shells is better in CQB, it certainly does more damage, but the random pellet spread and it having the most recoil of any gun in DayZ means that you cannot control the full auto on this, as demonstrated in this hilarious clip. The second stat that I pulled out of my ass is damage over range, displaying the ranks of the best weapons at range by giving us an average amount of damage that every single weapon in DayZ does over 1,000 meters. The new DMR is out in front on this stat as you can see, making it the best weapon in DayZ for sniping based on just damage, but not by a huge amount. The Mosin, Savannah and the Tundra are following closely behind the DMR here. It's a similar case when it comes to the third and final stat I want to talk about. This is called damage retention stat, which displays the distance at which a weapon loses 50% of its damage. So the DMR, for example, is out in front again, which will lose 50% of its damage at 810 meters. So at 810 meters, the DMR does half damage. This stat isn't biased towards sniper rifles though, as you may expect. It just so happens that snipers are less affected by damage drop-off because, as you can see, 45 round weapons like the USG and the FX are ranking pretty high here. Even the M79 is up here, demonstrating how much damage these weapons retain over their distances. Because this stat gives us the distance every weapon loses 50% of its damage, you can quickly work out the damage your weapon would do at a variety of distances now. So for example with the DMR, we know it does 150 damage at point blank range, and we know it loses 50% of that damage over 810 meters, so at around 400 meters you will get around 75% of this initial damage of 150, or at 1200 meters 25% of that 150 will be remaining. So you can quickly roughly estimate the damage you do over a distance just by knowing 2 different numbers. Knowing these 2 numbers can give you a massive advantage at range, eliminating the need for these charts as well. Combining these 3 new stats with the rest of the weapon stats in DayZ, we get a list of the top 10 weapons in DayZ based on their overall weapon stat scores. Starting at rank 10 then is the KAM Assault Rifle, giving us an overall weapon score of 63.68, which is respectable, including the 3 new stats that we invented, which like a lot of the other stats here is slightly above average compared to the other weapons across the board, so the KAM is a good all-arounder. In rank 9 and 8 we have both the Tundra and the Savannah, both doing very high damage, but they're let down by their rate of fire and the new damage per second stat, with the Savannah being slightly better due to its 10 round mag and faster reload speeds. 7th place goes to the Mosin, which is better than the previous 2 snipers due to how it can zero further with a PU scope attached to it, giving us a weapon that has the longest effective range of any weapon in DayZ, which is 1050 meters, nearly at the maximum viewing distance. 6th place goes to one of my favourites, the AUG AX, with a weapon score of 69.06, a very well-rounded weapon that has a great many decent stats to it, making it hard to go wrong with the AUG AX. If you're in any situation with this weapon, it's probably going to pull you through. Now in the top 5 we have the M4A1 with its rate of fire and DPS putting it here, but it's a favourite among many for its versatility, which unfortunately cannot be considered statistically here. 4th goes to the LeMasse, almost solely due to its extra damage compared to the M4. This weapon does 107 damage per shot, so in some situations it can down a player twice as fast as the M4. Onto the top 3 weapons then, we have the LAR, not only for the huge damage bonus it has over other full auto rifles in the game, but also because of the damage it has over range and the great damage retention it has. These two stats are really showing what the LAR can do. Onto second place, a weapon that has held rank 1 in my weapon rankings for the longest of time now sits the SVD, because the DMR is very slightly, statistically, the best weapon in DayZ. There's little difference between these two great weapons, but the DMR is slightly better. The SVD does allow a metal suppressor, so if you like the metal suppressor and you like suppressed weapons, the SVD is probably going to be better for you. But for me, the DMR is better because I need all the stats I can get. Now when it comes to just ranking all of the snipers in DayZ, the SVD and DMR are a crazy distance out in front compared to the others. You can see the weapon rankings here. This is all of the stats that are worthwhile in DayZ put together into one big number, and it's way out in front. I believe these two might get nerfed, or the sniper rifles, the single shot bolt action sniper rifles, will probably get a buff of some sort, I'm not sure. With the assault rifle type weapons, the ranks are not as easy to distinguish. The best weapons will strongly be influenced by the situation that you're in. But if you pick any of these 4 weapons, you really can't go wrong with close and medium range encounters, and these 6 are going to be best for medium and long distance encounters too. The Blaze double shot certainly does give it a boost when it comes to these rankings, but the double shot on its own isn't enough to get it to the performance of the SVD and the DMR. The SVD and the DMR are just better all around weapons. The Blaze double shot is certainly going to be powerful below 500 meters, but when you go above 500 meters, that's where the 2 bullets become so distant that they're unreliable at hitting the same target. With the addition of these 3 new stats, I'm now very happy with the weapon tier list and how the ranks stand. These are the top 10 weapons in DayZ, and these are the top 10 weapons if you consider the Blaze double shot. But do be aware of the Blaze's disadvantages when using the double shot. Do you agree? Do you have any suggestions to improve these rankings or the stats, or adding a new stat or removing a stat? Let me know below, of which you can find the interactive page with these rankings on yourself. In other news, I'm away for 2 weeks over Christmas, so in the meantime you can learn about the hidden deadly stat that explains why wolves and players can sometimes one-shot us in DayZ. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good Christmas.